بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we find ourselves on the fourth day of this Hadith challenge. Today we will be looking at one Hadith which deals with our behavior in a social context. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Al-majalisu bil-amana." Gatherings are to be kept in confidence. Again, Al-majalisu bil-amana. Gatherings are to be kept in confidence. One last time. Al-majalisu bil-amana. Gatherings are to be kept in confidence. Narrated by Abu Dawud. So this forms a general rule. This is the general rule that any discussion which takes place in a gathering, whatever discussions took place, are not to be disclosed. That is the base rule. Whatever happened in the gathering is not to be disclosed. Now, this is contrary to our habits. We disclose things thoughtlessly. It'll just come across our mind that I heard such and such thing. We talk about it openly. We don't think about that. Was this in confidence? Was this not in confidence? I'll tell you a secret, but don't tell anybody. I'll tell you a secret, but don't tell anybody. How many times have we said this type of thing? Al-majalisu bil-amana. The discussions which took place in a gathering are not to be disclosed. And this further is another aspect of guarding our tongues. So already we've discussed that backbiting, where we are talking about the faults which are actually found in a third party. They're actually found in a person. We disclose them, we're talking about them. This is haram from Quran. Then slander. We're talking about faults which do not actually exist in a person. This has also been prohibited. And then, now as we are reading today, al-majalisu bil-amana, those discussions which took place in a gathering, they are not to be disclosed. So this is the general rule. Now there are exceptions to this rule, as are mentioned in the hadith itself. Now, except for 3 gatherings, as is mentioned in the hadith. Gatherings conducted to plan, first, unlawful bloodshed. So unlawful bloodshed is something which is not permissible. And when someone plans to do something which is not permissible, then the person who was privy to this information, it is permissible for him to disclose it to someone who can actually do something to prevent this illegal deed, this unlawful deed from happening. Look, even to the extent that a person is praying salat, and he sees that someone is walking, a person who's blind is walking, he's about to fall into a manhole, he's about to fall and hurt himself, injure himself. So it is not permissible for him to break his prayer. It is necessary for him to break his prayer and to go and to save that man and prevent him from losing his life or from hurting himself. So in the same manner, in the same vein, hearing this type of talk where they are discussing, where they're plotting and planning illegal bloodshed, unlawful bloodshed, it is permissible, rather it's his duty to disclose it to someone who can actually do something about it. Then unlawful cohabitation. Now this is something that, this ummah, this community of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have the responsibility of enjoining good and forbidding evil. So if someone hears that someone is planning to unlawfully cohabit with someone of the other gender, then this information should be disclosed and this sin should be prevented. And the last thing is illegal appropriation of someone's wealth. So just as we were discussing earlier about salat and unlawful bloodshed, so it is also permissible, as we see in the books of fiqh, that if someone sees that another person is trying to steal some wealth, then it is permissible for him to break his prayer. Here it's not necessary, but it is permissible for him to break his prayer to go and to save that wealth. So, in the same vein, when someone is planning to illegally take someone's wealth, whether it be his money, whether it be his possessions, whether it be his land, whatever it might be, but it is permissible to disclose to someone who is able to do something about it, who is able to stop it. So this is a guidance for us that first, let's guard our tongues. This is one of the instructions. This is one of the things we are striving to do in this month of Ramadan. guarding our tongues. So let's guard our tongues. Now, from this aspect to al-majalis bil aman, even if we are in a gathering which is not a public gathering. If it's a public gathering, then the story is different. It was meant for everyone to come and to listen and to understand what's going on. But if it is not a public gathering, then we should not take the talks outside. And let's start training our tongues. We don't involve ourselves in backbiting. We don't involve ourselves in slander, and we should be mindful of what we're doing when it comes to gatherings. We do not take, the whatever discussions took place. We do not take it outside. Let us save ourselves. Let us save our amal. May Allah give me first and all of us the tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين